In the chapter of business services, we have already completed our discussion with reference to the banking services. We talked about why banking services are necessary. We talked about the different types of the banks. We also discussed about the primary and secondary functions of banks. Now, the next part that comes into this chapter is insurance. This chapter, whatsoever topics we are talking about, those all are important from both the perspectives, that is, from the perspective of short notes as well as long answers. And at the same time, this particular topic has got the strong potentials for the distinguish between type of questions as well. One very interesting remark that I would put here is, even though you people have not answered the test at all, many of you, not all, one interesting remark that I can bring forth is I have observed that in the distinguish between kind of questions, students have got the difficulty. As far as the short note is concerned, true or false are concerned, justify are concerned, there the people are able to write it comfortably. There the people do not have any kind of problem. But when it comes to the questions related to distinguish between, they are having the difficulties. Now, why this happens, understand very carefully. One, to the point, distinguish between recognition, retrieval of that is a difficult task. For that purpose, there are two solutions. One, you by heart it. And that's not a good idea at all. Seriously, not a good idea. So what's the alternate then? That you take out those distinguish between and you do the writing practice of that. You write those down, you copy and paste those down. And when you do that, you will surely be having the confidence on that particular point of answering the questions related to distinguish between. I'm damn sure about this. Because what happens when you're writing something at that time, you have that thing into your mind being set. And that makes the difference. पॉइंट्स वही हैं जो आप शॉर्ट आंसर्स में पॉइंट लिखते हो, जो आप लॉन्ग आंसर्स में पॉइंट लिखते हो, आपने पॉइंट वही लिखने हैं, बट उसको उस समय पे एलाबरेट करना, उसको उस तरह से प्रेजेंट करना डिस्टिंग्विश के फॉर्मेट में, दैट इज वेयर द काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर इज. And on top of that, by this way, you will be completing your answers related to short answer as well. कुछ जगहों पे तो आपके ट्रू और फॉल्स, जस्टिफाई द फॉलोइंग वाले जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं वो भी कवर हो जाएंगे. So it suggests that whatsoever exercise वो जो आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में दिए हुए हैं, distinguish between, you just write those down, and by that way you'll be able to cover up with the questions related to distinguish between these one. इसमें ट्रांसपोर्ट लिखने की आवश्यकता नहीं है अभी. This commercial bank, central bank, restrictions, what is that? Current account, saving account, fixed deposit account, the types of insurance, like marine and general insurance or fire insurance. So these kind of things will help you a lot. I'd suggest that you should start doing it from right away. And by that way, you will automatically surpass the problem related to the answers on distinguish between. Am I all right? Let me come to the topic of insurance now. Yes, surely I can do it. Harshad is asking, sir, if it is possible for you, can you please explain the distinguish between of all functions of management of second chapter once we start our revision? Surely I'll be doing it like that. When we start doing the revision, the revision sessions, at that time I am planning it in a different way. My plan of action on that will be more on the question answer format as compared to elaborating on the concepts. See, again, if I have to talk about the concepts and again if I have to explain you the same things, then there is no use of what I have talked about in the earlier sessions. So when I'll be starting with my revision, at that time I will be talking from the perspective of the question answer format only. Maybe some topics I'll be covering in the short answers, some topics I'll be covering in the true or false, some topics I'll be covering in the long answers. But by that way, the whole chapter gets covered, and at the same time, we understand the formats of that as well. That's what my plan of action is when it comes to the revision sessions that will be starting in the month of January end or maybe in the February first week. At that time, you'll have the feel of it. Yes, this is how we are expected to do. I'm already thinking of it. I've already started working on that. So once some kind of point I reach, I'll be able to share those things with you people. All right. Yeah, I may not be able to. So I will not be giving you the whole detailed answers, but I'll be giving you the hint answers. That is what it should be. That you should not put the spoon into the mouth of student. That's what I've learned. I've never learned to do the spoon feed. But I'll surely be doing the kind of activities by which you'll be standing on your own. That's what is required, isn't it? कि अगर मैं spoon feed करता रहा कि ले बेटा ले खा बेटा खा बेटा खा बेटा, if I do something like that, then you will never be able to get on your own. And I don't want you people to be in that situation. Well, anyways, let me come to the next topic then, the insurance. Insurance is the subject matter of solicitation. Please read the offer documents carefully before taking any kind of insurance. This is what you must have heard whensoever an advert related to insurance comes. That's a mandatory advert. It comes as per the guidelines of IRDA, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. In our country, not in our country only, but everywhere, you'll always be finding that wherever the public money is involved, wherever the public funding is involved, in that case, the people always have a kind of regulator above them. The businesses always have the regulators above them, and that's required. कल को कोई अगर नया इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आए, वो आपसे पैसा ले और फिर आपको इंश्योरेंस दिए बगैर भाग जाए, that should not happen. कोई बंदा आपसे पैसा ले और आपको क्लेम ही ना दे, that should not happen. So for that purpose, there has to be a regulatory, like share market pe SEBI is the regulatory, Securities and Exchange Board of India. In the banking industry, RBI is the regulatory authority. And similarly, in the companies, in the case of companies, if you take the example of the companies incorporated under the Companies Act of 2013, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI, both are the regulatory authorities on them. Regulatory authorities means what? The people who are having the rights of regulating them. Regulation means what? You are putting a kind of controls on them. You are putting a kind of limitations to them. Because if these limitations, these controls are not put in, then in that case, people will behave in the way they want and they can dupe the public money. So to avoid that, there is the regulator even in the insurance called as IRDA, the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. Now, why this regulatory was required? अब आप जो insurance company को पैसा देते हो in the form of life or general insurance premium, अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करो आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में ये दो कंपनीज के नाम छपे हुए हैं, दैट देयर इज द न्यू इंडिया इंश्योरेंस कंपनी लिमिटेड and the Life Insurance Corporation of India. These two are the separate companies. These two are the companies which are having the separate segments of working. The New India Insurance Company Limited is a general insurance company. There is a law in our country called as GIC Act, the General Insurance Companies Act. And the fire insurance, the medical insurance, the health insurance, these all insurances are available under the general insurance category, because those are not related to the life of an individual. Whereas when it comes to the life insurance of an individual, the life insurance coverage is covered by the LIC. Now, these are two prominent public sector companies. Mehul, this is ridiculous. Just for the sake of confirming कि मैं lecture में हूँ या नहीं, ये क्या nonsensical kind of behavior है? I don't know. For what sake you people do this? I don't know. Do you people seriously have this? Is why you need the regulators, you know. No, this is why you need regulators. I said it. Because what happens is you have a kind of intuition, you have a kind of feeling कि यार क्लास चल रही है, कुछ तो टाइम पास करते हैं. और मैं जिस लेवल पे आज जा रहा था ना, उसको अचानक से ब्रेक लगाने वाली बात होती है. You vouch with the people who have been attending since the first point of today's session, the level with which I am discussing the things today. I have changed my mindset. अब तुम लोग के साथ में नो मजाक मस्ती ये सारी चीजें, these all things are nonsensical for me. I have decided that I'll be talking from the perspective of topic. I'll be focusing on the subject. उसको जितना गहराई से बात करना है वही करूंगा मैं अभी. मैं वो these fun enjoyment, these are not the part that you want. You want typical lectures to happen. That is what I've started understanding. Because when I am putting the efforts, you are not ready to. So why should I put the extra efforts? Henceforth, if something like that happens with anyone, वो गलती से हो या कुछ भी हो, I'm going to remove that person and you won't be able to attend that session again. I'm telling this very seriously. सुबह 7 बजे मूड मत खराब किया करो यार, आगे लेक्चर होते हैं मुझे. मैं क्या पढ़ के सिर्फ एक्सप्लेन करूंगा तुमको? नहीं पसंद मुझे वो पढ़ के एक्सप्लेन करना. पढ़ के सुनाना वो बात अलग है, एक्सप्लेनेशन तो मैं मेरे ही दूंगा. सॉरी सर, गलती से हो गया. गलती से क्या क्या हो जाता है बेटा तुमसे? एक इसको चमाट मारो रे मेरी तरफ से. हाँ. So when you are talking about the insurance, primarily these two companies, the name of these two companies which is given, these are the public sector organizations. Whereas in the current scenario, It is not restricted only to the public sector to give the insurance. Even the private sector parties have come for the insurance businesses. You must have heard the names as maybe ICICI Pru Life, maybe the companies like you must have heard Star Health Insurance, you must have heard Max Bupa Life Insurance, Bajaj Insurance, Bajaj Allianz Insurance, in fact, Bharti AXA Life Insurance, and so on and so forth. What these companies are doing, HDFC Argo, Argo alag, huh? Argo is Arnab Goswami. Argo is ERGO, HDFC Argo Life Insurance, or in HDFC Argo Insurance. What these companies are doing, they are doing the same thing as what LIC or GIC's companies like New India Insurance Company, United India Insurance Company were doing. Now, what's the difference that they are putting forth is, when it comes to the LIC, that company would be selling more of their traditional plans. I heard from one of the broker, the agent of LIC, he said that LIC is printing the claim check or settlement check, one check every second is what they do. Nowadays, they are doing the online payments to that speed. One settlement every second. Why? Because LIC over the years, in fact decades, have become so big that it is having the different level of functions altogether. So what I want to highlight, my dear friends, is there are the companies who are taking your money. Now, what do the insurance company do with your money? Do they keep it with yourself कि ये बड़ा होके वो 10 रुपए का नोट 1000 का नोट बनेगा 2000 का नोट बनेगा, या 2000 का नोट रखेंगे तो बड़ा होके वो 2000 का बंडल बन जाएगा? It doesn't happen like that. We know it very well. Money doesn't grow like that. पैसे को पैसा बढ़ाता है, but कैसे? Invest करके. So what these insurance companies do, they take the money from you and they invest that in the market. They invest into the bonds, they invest into the shares, they invest into the deposits, and by doing such investment, they try to generate the revenues for them. They try to earn the profits on them. And the part of that profit they share with the insurance holders. That's how their business works. आप इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को जो पैसा देते हो, उससे वो आपको कवरेज क्यों दे सकते हैं? They've done the researches on that. कि अगर मैं 100 लोगों को इंश्योरेंस देता हूं, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, उन 100 लोगों से मान लो मैंने 10,000 रुपए ईच प्रीमियम लिया, मतलब 100 लोगों से 10,000 रुपए, कायदा सैकड़ा हजार 10,000 लाख 10 लाख 10 लाख रुपए हुए. एंड व्हेन आई हैव टेकन द 10 लाख रुपीस, मान लो उस 10,000 के अगेंस्ट मैं उसको 1 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस देने के लिए रेडी हूं, या मान लो 2 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस देने के लिए रेडी हूं. इज इट द केस कि वो 100 में से 100 के 100 लोग मर जाने वाले? नहीं, नॉट एट ऑल. मान लो वो 100 में से 2 लोग मर गए. That's the base, the kind of mortality rate based on which they do these all calculations. तो 10 लाख रुपए में से 2 लाख 4 लाख रुपए चले गए, क्योंकि 2 लाख का कवरेज था। 100 लोग इंटू 10,000, सैकड़ा, हजार, 10,000, लाख, 10 लाख बराबर में से 2 लोग मर गए। लेट्स फॉर द सेक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज 1 लाख का इंश्योरेंस ओनली, मतलब 2 लाख रुपए चले गए, 8 लाख रुपए अभी भी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के पास बचे हैं। ये 8 लाख रिमेनिंग 98 लोगों को कवरेज देने के लिए ही है। पर होता क्या है दैट रिमेनिंग लोग में से भी सर्वाइवल रेट होता है, एंड दे हैव डन द कैलकुलेशंस ऑन दैट, ओनली ऑन द बेस ऑफ दैट दे आर एबल टू डू दिस बिजनेस। अब ये जो 8 लाख रुपए का जो इन्वेस्टमेंट जो पैसा है, दे विल डू द इन्वेस्टमेंट्स ऑफ दैट। और इन्वेस्टमेंट 1 साल के लिए होगा क्या? नहीं मिस्टर अथर्व राशिवाड़ीकर, these people do not do the investments for the short period of time, because इंश्योरेंस जब दिया जाता है तो ये अगले 10 साल के लिए, 15 साल के लिए, 20 साल के लिए दिया जाता है। तो जो प्रीमियम का पैसा है, ये पैसा इनके पास उतने पीरियड तक रहने वाला है या नहीं? ये तो मैंने बहुत ही खराब किस्मत वाली इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के बारे में बात किया कि जिस साल में हमने इंश्योरेंस कवरेज दिया उसी साल में 2 लोग लुढ़क गए। That doesn't happen generally, but may so happen. इंडिविजुअल ऐसा क्यों नहीं कराता? मीन्स व्हाट जय? 8 लाख वापस देने पड़ते हैं। ऑफ कोर्स दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन द काइंड ऑफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी। There is something called as a term insurance policy, there is something called as an endowment insurance policy, and there is something called as money back policy. अच्छा, इंडिविजुअल खुद से क्यों नहीं इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, इस चीज को मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा। एक्चुअली आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इन अ डिफरेंट वे ऑन दिस इंश्योरेंस टॉपिक। हमने कौन सा इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए, कौन सा नहीं लेना चाहिए, इस पे भी हम लोग डिस्कशन करेंगे, बेस्ड ऑन द रिटर्न्स, बेस्ड ऑन द इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एक्सेट्रा। आज की तारीख में अगर मुझे LIC का सेलिब्रेटेड इंश्योरेंस प्लान जीवन आनंद जैसा अगर कोई इंश्योरेंस करवाना है, व्हाई आई सेड सेलिब्रेटेड, वो आपने LIC का एक टैग सुना होगा, टैगलाइन, जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी। व्हाई दे डू इट, why they make the why they kind of announce it like that, जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी, is because if in the Jeevan Anand policy, if the individual survives till maturity, I repeat, under the Jeevan Anand policy, if the individual survives till maturity, the individual gets the maturity value of that insurance plus the bonus etc. मतलब ये कि अगर मैंने सपोज 50 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस ले रखा होगा, and if I'm surviving till the specified date, I will get back the whole of my sum assured plus the loyalty bonus on that plus the kind of additional benefits. That is 50 लाख के जगह पे मुझे लगभग 1 करोड़ 10 लाख रुपए मिलता है, depending upon the rate of interest and the kind of performance of the company at all. ये जीवन आनंद। और उसके बाद अप टू द एज ऑफ 70 अगर मैं सरवाइव कर जाता हूं तो मुझे वापस से मेरा सम अश्योर्ड मिलेगा, मतलब 50 लाख रुपए और मिलेंगे। पर अगर सपोज मैं 50 पे मेरी पॉलिसी मैच्योर हो गई और मैं 70 तक सरवाइव नहीं कर पाया, तो whensoever I get deceased, at that time my family will be getting 50 lakh rupees. That is why it is called as जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी. I cross checked कि अगर ऐसी पॉलिसी लेनी हो तो 1 करोड़ रुपए की पॉलिसी के लिए 4 लाख रुपए पर ईयर फॉर 21 ईयर्स का इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम है. 1 करोड़ रुपए की पॉलिसी के लिए 4 लाख रुपए पर ईयर 20 ईयर्स के लिए, 21 ईयर्स के लिए प्रीमियम होता है. मतलब 84 लाख रुपीस इफ यू पे, then you get that insurance. That's how that works. बट यहां गिमिक कैसे काम करता है, कैसे वो सिस्टम्स काम करते हैं, सारी चीजें हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. इनफैक्ट दैट इज व्हाट इज द एरिया ऑफ डिस्कशन फॉर एक्चुरियल कोर्स आल्सो. क्योंकि ये सारे डिसीजंस जो मैंने अभी अभी आपके सामने इतना सब कुछ प्रेजेंट किया, ये सारी डिसीजंस एक एक्चुरी होता है उसके सपोर्ट से, उसके कंसल्टेंसी से लिए जाते हैं कि कौन सा इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी लाना चाहिए, किस तरह से इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी आना चाहिए. व्हाई? बिकॉज इंश्योरेंस कंपनी भी सरवाइव करनी चाहिए और इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस भी मिलता रहना चाहिए. बोथ द थिंग्स हैव टू बी मैनेज्ड. सो ऑल इन ऑल, खैर ठीक है, कहानियां बहुत बन सकती हैं, बट वन पॉइंट दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर इज दैट द इंश्योरेंस इज प्राइमरीली डिवाइडेड इनटू लाइफ इंश्योरेंस एंड द जनरल इंश्योरेंस. Certain important terms which are very much necessary to be understood when it comes to the insurance are these points which are given in your textbook. So let's come on to the text now. Insurance is a means of protection from the financial loss only. A very important term, please underline. It cannot compensate, it cannot indemnify the moral loss, emotional loss, the individual's loss. आपने अगर मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ है, वी कॉल जनरली इट एज मेडिक्लेम. आपने मेडिक्लेम लिया हो तो उस मेडिक्लेम का फायदा सिर्फ आपके हॉस्पिटल बिल्स में होता है. मान लो राह चलते मैं, अगर मेरा किसी के साथ एक्सीडेंट हो गया, मेरा पैर टूट गया, मेरे पैर की मरम्मत करने के लिए जो खर्च आने वाला है वो मुझे इंश्योरेंस कंपनी दे देगी, पर उस पैर में वापस आने वाली स्ट्रेंथ वो नहीं देगी. Because they can compensate to you only to the extent of financial loss. It is a form of risk management primarily used to hedge against, hedging means protection, against the risk of contingent or uncertain losses. That's why the insurance is never available for normal loss. Insurance is available only for abnormal losses, uncertain, unknown. Insurance is a contract between the insurer and insured. Now, what is this insurer? What is this insured? We'll be talking about that. Whereby the insurer agrees to compensate the insured against the loss. The insured has to pay a certain fixed sum of money on a timely basis to the insurer. We call that as premium. So what are the important terms? Insured, the person or the product against which you have taken the insurance is called as insured. अगर आपने अपनी हेल्थ पे इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ है तो you become insured. आपने अपनी लाइफ पे इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ है, you become insured. आपका कोई बिजनेस है, बिजनेस में आग के अगेंस्ट आपने इंश्योरेंस ले रखा है, तो योर बिजनेस बिकम्स इंश्योर्ड. So the person who is protected against against certain losses, insured is known as an assured in case of life insurance contracts. He is the policy holder. The person who is having the insurance policy against which he can claim the financial loss. The insurer, the firm or a person who agrees to compensate the insured against the losses for a consideration. Insurer is known as an assurer in case of life insurance contracts. Because he is bound to get the sum assured on maturity of the policy, or the nominee will get the sum assured on the death of the policy holder. That's why it is called as assurance policy. Assurer is the name used. Premium, it's a kind of annuity. Annuity means what? The amount, the premium, the any amount which is fixed and to be paid at a regular interval is what you call as the premium. The consideration for which the insurer agrees to insure the insured, it is paid by the insured to the insurer. The amount payable by me to the insurance company. Policy is an agreement, a contract between the insured and the insurer, which provides the detailed terms and conditions with reference to the insurance. When the claim can be made, to what extent claim can be made, how the claim has to be made, who is to be contacted in case there is a loss. These all things are covered within the policy. ये हम जिंदगी में कभी नहीं पढ़ते क्योंकि वो बारीक बारीक चीटी जैसे अक्षर होते हैं. हम लोग सिर्फ साइन करना जानते हैं. The statement of contract between the insured and the insurer, it contains the terms and conditions of the insurance contract. Claim, खुदा न खास्ता कुछ अगर लॉस हो जाता है, if there is any kind of situation, at that time the amount that you want to recover, the kind of compensation that you want to get from your insurer, is what we call as a claim. It is a demand made by the insured to the insurer to compensate for loss occurred due to the mishappening. It is not mishap as such. It is mishappening or mishap. Proposal, it is written, it is a request written. See, understand, insurance company never do give the proposal to you. Insurance company gives you the invitation to offer. You must have learned this into the subject of law. Offer, invitation to offer, and then acceptance. So you propose to the insurance company and the insurance company accepts whether you will get the insurance or not. That's how the proposal and insurance thing works. The insurance company never gives you the offer, it only gives you the invitation to offer. So proposal is a written request by the insured to the insurance company to issue an insurance policy in favor of the insured. Subject matter for what you are taking that insurance is what we call as the subject matter. अगर मैं अपनी लाइफ पे इंश्योरेंस ले रहा हूं तो लाइफ becomes the subject matter. If I'm taking the property ke against fire insurance, it's fire, burglary, etc. insurance, then in that case, my property becomes the subject matter. If I'm taking the insurance against my health, then my health becomes the subject matter. If I'm taking it in the form of marine insurance, then in that case, ship or the cargo in that ship becomes the subject matter. तो हमें क्लेम किसके अगेंस्ट मिलेगा, that becomes the subject matter. Is it not right? So these are the important terms with reference to insurance. My next lecture, that will be on Friday, will be talking for the principles of insurance. बोल जय. जय, तेरी क्या रिक्वेस्ट है? इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में क्या क्या फ्रॉड हो सकते हैं? अतर पहले इंश्योरेंस में क्या क्या हो सकता है वो सीखेंगे, उसके बाद में तुम फ्रॉड पे फोकस करना. Okay, how do you do the foundation, like foundation registration? I'll take the session on that, separate session, no problem, and I'll explain you the whole process. All right, for now, we'll be meeting on Friday. Friday ka, yes, Neha, we can do it. That is called as surrender of policy. Yes, New India Assurance is a statutory corporation because it is incorporated under GIC Act. Friday ka timing I'll be announcing because Friday I'm actually uh, going to my hometown tomorrow or day after. तो वहां से मुझे लेक्चर लेना होगा, तो वहां मेरा कैसे एडजस्टमेंट होता है, अकॉर्डिंगली आई विल बी अनाउंसिंग द टाइम फॉर माय सेशन ऑन फ्राइडे. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर टुडे.